In this video, I'll be discussing the future role of Zoro's sword Enma. Zoro obtained this sword after returning Shisui to the land of Wano. But what was Oda exactly thinking having Zoro switch swords? What was the point? Did Oda really have to add this? I think he did, and I'll be explaining Enma's important future role. So what or who exactly is Enma? Let's go into the details by starting off with what is Enma. As many of you already know, Enma is a blade that once belonged to the famous Kozuki Oden. Enma is a great-grade katana that is one of the 21 great-grade swords. It is a masterpiece of the legendary swordsmith Shimotsuki Kozaburo. Enma was one of Oden's 2 blades that he used in combat. Oden managed to give Kaido a nasty scar when they fought. This scar was gave to Kaido on the outside of his body. The main character of the series, Yonko Luffy, couldn't even damage Kaido with his strongest attacks. He had to learn a new form of haki that lets you bypass your opponent's skin and attack their organs from the inside. So this information should give you some insight about what the blade Enma is. It's a pretty powerful blade that was crafted by one of the best. Now let's move on to who is Enma. In Japanese mythology, Enma is the ruler of death and the underworld and the judge of the dead. He is also known as the King of Hell. When someone dies, Enma judges where their soul is sent. The soul could be sent to hell or heaven. Benevolent souls go to heaven, and wicked souls get sent to hell. Enma has different variations, but in this video, we're only focusing on his Japanese variant. Now that I have gave you some history on the sword Enma and its mythological counterpart, I'll explain why I think Oda wanted Zoro to obtain this sword. I'm just gonna dive straight into the juicy theory that I've come up with. I think Enma has the ability to slay the 5 elders. I know that I may sound crazy, but hear me out. All living life forms in the world of One Piece possess haki. When Zoro wields Enma, it immediately wants to consume large amounts of his haki. If all living organisms contain haki, this would 100% make Enma alive despite it being an inanimate object. I don't see other people's weapons drawing out their haki. This is because other people's weapons aren't alive like Enma. If Enma is alive, this would also mean the Grim Reaper that Zoro saw after defeating King wasn't a hallucination, but was the real Enma. It was also stated if Enma takes too much of Zoro's haki, this casualty could result in death. So this goes on to when an individual loses too much haki, they could potentially die. Note, we have never saw anyone in the series die from losing too much haki, but it can 100% happen. We've only seen individuals like Luffy and Law get fatigued when they burn through heaps of their haki. This is similar to how in real life when we exercise we're tired afterwards, but too much exercise could lead to death. Keep this information in the back of your head. Now I'm about to discuss the 5 elders. No matter what attack gets through at them, they always seem to regenerate. Their regeneration also doesn't seem to have a limit. Also note that even though they are regenerating, they still take the initial damage until the regeneration happens. It has also been confirmed that the 5 elders do possess haki. Warcury did a conqueror's haki scream at Luffy and the giants. So if the 5 elders possess haki, doesn't this mean that Enma should be able to drain their haki as well? I also have to mention that we haven't seen Enma drain anybody else's haki besides its owner Zoro. But this is just a theory. I think if Zoro is ever able to find a way to feed Enma his opponent's haki through slashing them, this would be a real game changer. This would be very similar to Shiryu's sword. Shiryu claims that Ryu, his sword, has a thirst for blood, and that the blade has tasted the blood of many fallen victims. The blood has caused the blade to have a bloodlust aura. If what Shiryu is saying is true, this indeed proves my point that a user can indeed feed their weapon through combat. Since the 5 elders have been shown to be immune to dismemberment, fire, and almost every other physical attack, I think Zoro will be the one that will show us they are able to be damaged. And we know they can be damaged because Saturn has a scar on his face that looks like a slash mark. If the gorosei truly are demonic entities, then the only way I can see them being damaged is through spiritual energy, also known as haki. I think if Zoro is able to get a good slash on one of them with Enma, then we may see them finally start to dodge instead of tanking every attack. I also think this is why Oda separated Zoro from the crew, because he doesn't want to show us just yet the true capabilities of Enma. Remember how I said the mythological Enma was the king of hell and judges where souls go? If the five elders are not human and truly are demons, then what's stopping the real Enma from appearing once again to judge them once Zoro has subdued one of them? We saw Enma appear before Zoro, so maybe him appearing again is the key to Zoro permanently extinguishing an elder. Well, that is it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this theory. Until next time.